Hello and welcome back. Hello again. An English class. Today, I don't need the book, but I need my pencil. And I need the book, but I don't need the information in the book. Today, the present continuous. The present continuous. El presente continuo. Se supone, it's supposed to be a very easy form, but it's not. It's a very important form. It's a very powerful form. The present continuous. Also, we can say the present progressive. Cosas que están en vías de realización. That's the present continuous. Por eso decimos presente continuo. Está continuando, progresando, en vías de realización. There are two present tenses. The present continuous and the simple present. In Spanish, I call the simple present el presente habitual. I don't say el presente simple, because it expresses habitual actions, okay? I teach. Yo enseño. Y de hecho estoy enseñando ahora mismo. And now I'm teaching, okay? Pepe, a friend of mine, smokes. But I can see Pepe through the window, and right now he's not smoking. You see, in Spanish, when you express an action that is happening right now, you can use both in Spanish. You can use the present continuous and you can use the present simple. I don't agree with that, but it's your language, it's not mine. I can say, mire, sujeto el lápiz en la mano. That's perfect Spanish. ¿Ve? ¿Ve usted? ¿O ves? Sujeto la lápiz en la mano y ahora cambio el lápiz a la otra mano y ahora lo sujeto en la mano izquierda. Ahora lo cambio de nuevo a la mano derecha y lo sujeto aquí. That's correct Spanish. That's using el presente habitual in English. But in Spanish also you can use the present continuous. Estoy sujetando el lápiz, estoy sujetando en vez de sujeto y ahora... ¿Ves? Lo estoy cambiando y ahora lo estoy sujetando. So really, it's interchangeable. Maybe in your language you use the present continuous. Estoy sujetándolo, lo estoy cambiando y ahora lo estoy sujetando. Maybe you use the present continuous more, but both are correct. All right? So you can say, ¿qué hace Pepe ahora? ¿Qué es lo que hace ahora? Pues espera a su esposa. Okay, that's correct. In English, you can't say, ¿qué hace Pepe ahora? It's absolutely impossible to put the word ahora, now, con ¿qué hace? You must say, ¿qué está haciendo? You must use the present continuous. Okay? Every day, I teach. And now, I'm teaching. Every day, I drive my car. But now, I'm not driving my car. Every day, I speak English. Y de hecho, and in fact, right now, ahora mismo, right now, I'm speaking English. Every day, I help my wife prepare dinner. But now, I'm not helping my wife. Presente continuo. So today, present continuous. I'm sitting. I'm not standing. I'm looking at you. I'm not looking at the door. I'm pointing at you. I'm not pointing at the ceiling. I'm pointing to the book. I'm pointing at you. It's interesting. The preposition at and the preposition to. Sometimes they're interchangeable. Usually they're not. Okay? At is often a violent preposition, una preposición violenta. To, no. For example, si quiero dirigir, if I want to direct your attention to this book, I would say, look at the book. I'm pointing to the book. Now, if I want to, I'm pointing at you, all right, to point at. For example, if I have this pencil, okay, if you ask me, say, excuse me, Chloe, can you give me the pencil? I said, well, here, catch. And I throw the pencil to you, okay? it's a way of giving you the pencil, but you're too far away. So I say, here, my friend, here, and I throw the pencil to you. Now, si estoy enfadado, if I'm angry, one alternative is to throw the pencil at you. So at is a violent preposition. To is not. Okay? To point at, to point to. To throw at, to throw to. Okay? So, I'm sitting in a chair. I'm sitting at the table. I'm sitting in front of you. I'm not sitting behind you. I'm looking at you. I'm talking to you. Or I'm speaking to you. I'm talking to you means estoy hablando contigo en plan conversacional. I'm speaking to you is the same, but it means estoy dirigiéndote la palabra. Now, cuando dices el idioma, siempre speak. We don't say I'm talking English. I'm speaking English. I'm teaching you. All right. What language am I teaching you? I'm teaching you English. Okay. You are looking at me. You're watching television, but you're looking directly at me. Okay. You're looking at me. To look at is to fix your attention on a person or on an object. And to fix your attention on that person and on that object is to look at. And in the visual field, el campo visual, your visual field, you can see other things. But I'm looking at you. I can see Claire, the camera woman and the director of this program. I can see Claire, but I'm not looking at Claire. Okay? En español dirías la veo, pero no la estoy mirando. En inglés también, pero hay que insertar puedo. I can see her. We don't say I see her. I can see her, but I'm looking at you. Now, you can watch me, but I can't watch you. Okay? I'm looking at you, but I can't see you because it's a camera. You're behind the camera. I can't see you. I only see the camera objective, or objetivo. But I know you're there because otherwise you wouldn't be watching me. And if you look at my nose. Look at my nose. Are you looking at my nose? Okay, I can move it and I can do things. Or look at this pencil. Look at this pencil. What color is it? It's white. Is it an attractive pencil or an ugly pencil? Well, it's an attractive pencil. Does it have an eraser at the tip or not? Yes, it has an eraser. Is the eraser new or used? Well, it's quite new. And the point, is it sharp or is it blunt or dull? Well, it's sharp. Okay. We're looking at the pencil. Now, if I say begin and I do this, I'm saying watch. Watch the pencil. Watch. I almost lose it, but watch. The difference between to look at and to watch means you look at an object or a person and you fix your vision on the person or the object. To watch is to fix your attention on the action or the activity that person or object is doing or performing. For example, if a little boy in the park, you go to the park, and in the park you see a mother and her child, and the child is 5 years old. The mother is sitting on a bench, sentada en un banco del parque. The mother is sitting on the bench and she is knitting. Hacer punto. She's knitting. All right, con K al principio, right? Knitting, con doble T en medio. She's knitting. And she's not paying attention. She is not paying attention. All right? In inglés la atención se paga, no se presta. In Spanish you lend attention. In English we pay. All right? So, she's not paying attention to her child, which could be dangerous. But the child is playing in the park. And the child goes up the slide. The slide is el tobogán. The child goes up the slide. And when he's at the top of the slide, he looks at his mother and he says, "Mommy, Mommy, look, look." And the mother stops knitting and looks and sees her child at the top, of the slides. But the child says, look. And when the child sees that the mother is looking, then the child changes to a different verb. Watch. And he goes down the slide. And the mother watches her little boy going down the slide. So to look is to fix your attention at the person or the object, and to watch is the only thing important is the action, not the person. Okay? The action. So you're looking at me now, but really you're watching television because you're fixing your attention in my actions and my everything I say. Okay? So I'm sitting at the table. I'm leaning on the table, or I'm leaning against the wall. Leaning. Okay? I'm leaning on my elbows. I'm putting my hands together and I'm talking to you. I'm looking at you. You're looking at me, but also, pero también, you're listening to me. Look at, listen to. Look at, listen to. All right? Listen to. The preposition to always is connected to look. To listen, excuse me. Listen to. They are first cousins, primos hermanos. They always go together. Listen to me. Listen to the music. Listen to this. Listen to me. Listen to. Okay? And the only time you don't say to with listen is when it's a direct. Listen. Escucha. Listen. I have something important to tell you. Listen. Listen to me. Listen to her. Listen to the music. Listen to the noise. Listen to the birds in the park. Okay? So, I'm sitting in front of you. I'm leaning on the table. I'm leaning on my elbows. I'm supporting my head on my hands. And I'm teaching you English. You're learning English. I'm pointing at you. Okay? I'm pointing at myself. I'm pointing at you with my right hand. I'm pointing at you with my left hand. I'm pointing at you with both hands. I'm pointing at the ceiling with both hands. I'm pointing at myself with both hands. Okay? Now, I'm lifting this table. I'm trying to lift the table. I'm starting to get up, but I'm sitting down. Okay? I'm holding the pencil in my left hand. I'm changing the pencil to my right hand. I'm holding the pencil, the opposite. Now I'm holding the pencil with my left hand. Now I'm holding the pencil with both hands. Okay? I'm trying to break the pencil, but it's difficult. I can't. I'm cleaning my ring. I'm taking the ring off. I'm putting it on. I'm taking it off. And I'm putting it on. I insert it in the middle. Inserto la palabra, el pronombre it en medio. Voy a quitármelo. I'm going to take it off. Now I'm taking it off. I'm putting it on. And if I continue doing it, uno y otra vez, I can insert the word back. Now I'm taking off the ring, and now I'm putting it back on. Now I'm taking it back off. And finally, I'm putting it back on. With the pronoun it, always between the verb and the preposition. Taking it off, putting it on. But with the noun, el sustantivo, el nombre, it's your decision. I'm taking off my ring, or I'm taking my ring off. Y al revés, I'm putting on my ring, or I'm putting my ring on. It's the same with my watch. I'm taking off my watch. I'm holding it in my right hand. Now I'm holding it in my left hand. And now I'm putting it back in. Not on en este caso. On sería así. Up, I'm losing it. I'm putting it in my left hand. And now I'm putting it back on. I'm putting on my watch. Or I'm putting my watch on. Pero si uso el pronombre, siempre en medio, eh? I'm putting it on. Now, this is a pencil. I'm putting the pencil in, or into, I'm putting the pencil in my shirt pocket. Now the pencil is in my shirt pocket. But now I'm taking it out of my pocket. I'm taking the pencil out of my pocket. I'm putting the pencil in my pocket. I'm taking it out of my pocket. I'm putting it into or in my pocket. To is optional with. In purist terms, para los puristas, I'm taking it out of, putting it into. Okay. Now, the pencil's in my pocket. If I need to use it, the first thing I need to do is to take it out of my pocket. So, I'm taking the pencil out of my pocket. And now I'm putting it back in. Now I'm taking it back out. Put in, take out. Put in, take out. Take off, put on. Take off, put on. Take off. To take off your clothes, to put on your clothes. But when you extract or insert, it's to take out and to put in. And this is to put on. I'm putting the pencil on the table in front of me. This is a book. Okay. I'm reading the book. Okay. Now, I'm writing something in the book. I'm writing my name in the book. I'm writing it with my right hand. I'm holding the pencil in my right hand, and I'm writing my name with my right hand. Okay? Now, I'm erasing my name. Okay? I'm using the eraser. I'm using the eraser on the back of the pencil to erase my name. Okay? So, the book is open. It's not closed. The book is open in front of me. It's not behind me. In front of. Tres palabras, pero se dicen seguidas. In front of. The book is in front of me. I'm turning the pages. I'm turning the pages. Okay? I'm turning the pages slowly. I'm not turning the pages quickly. Okay? Now this page is important for me. Okay? Now, I am folding this page. To fold. All right? I'm folding this page. I am unfolding the page. Now I can see everything on the page because I have unfolded the page. Okay? And now I'm turning the pages again. And now I'm closing the book. This is the front of the book. I want to see the back of the book, the last page. So, if I want to see the back of the book, I need to turn the book over. This is the back. Okay? If I want to see the front, I need to turn the book over again. Okay? Now I can see the book perfectly. If I turn the book around, then it's upside down. And I can't read the book very well because the book is upside down, al revés. So, to solve this situation, I need to turn the book around. And to close the book, but to see the back, I need to turn the book over. Okay? This is to turn. Turn is girar. Giras en la primera esquina. You turn at the first corner. This is the turn over. This is to turn around. Me is to turn around. But if I'm horizontal, I turn over. Sometimes in bed, if I'm sleeping and I'm not comfortable, I turn over. But if I'm standing, I turn around. Okay? Well, we've covered a few verbs, but we have many more verbs to cover to clarify Verbs, prepositions, pronouns. There's so much. But I'll be back. Vuelvo. Y voy a seguir insistiendo. Y trataremos de cubrir todo lo cubrible y lo posible. I'll cover as much as possible. So, continue studying, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye. Hello and welcome back. Welcome again, ladies and gentlemen, to an English class. This is an intermediate class, although I recommend it for the advanced people too. Why? Because today I'm going to do something that you never get right. Even the advanced students make mistakes, constant mistakes with this. How long does it take to learn a language? How long does it take to grow up? How long does it take to write an email? How long does it take to drive from here to Barcelona? How long does it take to fly around the world? How long does it take? I don't know. How long does it take to become a television English teacher? How long does it take? How long does it take? How long does it take? In the present tense, impersonal. ¿Cuánto se tarda en leer una novela? Well, it depends. How long does it take? How long does it take? El sujeto aquí siempre es it. It es inamovible. Para el resto de tu vida con el inglés, si quieres hablar de tardar, recuerda, it, la partícula it es el sujeto siempre. Not you, not Jennifer, not Thomas. It. How long does it take? Claro, it es tercera persona del singular. Entonces en el presente tiene que ir con el does, en la pregunta. O en el negativo, it doesn't take. No se tarda mucho. It doesn't take long. It doesn't take long. Voy a hacer frases impersonales. ¿Cuánto se tarda en hacer este método? How long does it take to do this method? It takes. Fijaos en la S al final. It takes 4 years, between 3 and 4 years, to complete this method for a normal student. How long does it take to climb Mount Everest? Mount Everest is the highest mountain in the world. It's located in Nepal, a country just north of India and just south of China or Tibet. Tibet is now part of China, so Nepal is a country located between China and between China and India. And Nepal has a lot of mountains because the Himalaya passes through. And Mount Everest is located in the Himalaya, and specifically empieza por ese, and specifically it's located in Nepal. And it's the highest mountain in the world. Fijaos en la pronunciación de mountain. Mao, como el dictador chino, o como la cerveza española, Mao, cerveza Mao. Mountain, añades un N, mountain, y luego el número 10, 10, mountain. O la palabra tonelada en inglés, ton, mountain. So it's the highest mountain. How long does it take to climb Mount Everest? Ni idea. I have no idea because I'm not a mountain climber. But probably it takes about 10 days from the base camp to the top, to the summit, la cumbre, to the peak, to the top. It probably takes about 10 days. Okay. How long does it take to fly around the world? Well, it takes 12 hours to fly from here to Texas. And that's about 1/3. So probably it takes 36 hours to fly around the world. How many kilometers is it around the world? Well, that's easy, 40,000. They're exactly 40,000 kilometers is the circumference of the earth. Because in the last 5 years of the 18th century in Paris, a group of experts came together under the auspices of the Directorate after the French Revolution and immediately before Napoleon Bonaparte. In that period of time, the French Directorate organized a group of thinkers and intellectuals and scientists, and these people came together in Paris and created the metric system. And they made the decision that the circumference of the earth was 40,000 kilometers, or kilometers, as some English people say. 40,000 kilometers. And so 1 kilometer is 1/40,000th, una 40,000 parte, 1/40,000th of the circumference of the earth. Did you know that? I bet you didn't. My camera woman, Claire, did you know that? You didn't. You see? I know one person who didn't know it. Okay. Yes. So you can, if you want to study the metric system, you put in Google or you put the metric system and you will learn about the French Directorate and you will learn about the meetings in Paris to decide on and design, decir sobre y diseñar, the metric system. So, probably it takes about 30 or 40 hours to fly around the earth. How long does it take to learn English? That depends. Depends on you. It takes some people maybe 500 hours of dedication, and it takes other people 5,000 hours of dedication. But nobody has, in the history of the world, has learned English or a second language without a lot of work. So it takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of effort. Okay. Now, it takes impersonal. How long does it take to prepare fabada? How long does it take to prepare paella? These are standard durations. How long does it take to drive from Madrid to Barcelona? How long does it take to drive from New York to Los Angeles, etc.? How long does it take? For example, how long does it take to drive from New York to Los Angeles? Well, it takes 5 days. It takes a long time to drive from New York to Los Angeles. How long does it take to drive from Madrid to Paris? It takes 2 days. How long does it take you? Aquí personalizo, pero pongo el you después del verbo. How long, porque it sigue rigiendo aquí. How long does it take you to drive from Madrid to Paris? Me? It takes me only a day and a half. Why does it take you less than other people? Because I drive fast. Okay? How long does it take to wash dishes? Well, it depends on how many dishes or how big the meal was. And how long does it take you? Ahora voy a personalizar. How long does it take you to wake up every day? To wake up completely, it takes me about 20 minutes. A coffee and a shower wakes me up. So it takes me about 20 minutes. How long does it take you? And how long did it take you to learn Spanish? Me? It took me about 3 years to learn Spanish. Yes. And every day, how long does it take you to wash your hair? Well, it takes me about 5 minutes to wash my hair. And how long did it take you yesterday? It took me 5 minutes yesterday. All right? How long does it take to fly from Madrid to Paris? It takes 2 hours to fly from Madrid to Paris. How long does it take to fly from Madrid to London? It takes about 2 hours and 15 minutes, or 2 hours and 30 minutes, 2.5 hours to fly from Madrid to London. How long does it take to fly from New York to Los Angeles? It takes 5 hours to fly from New York to Los Angeles. How long does it take to fly from Madrid to Moscow? O como dirían los americanos, Moscow. It takes 4 hours, I think, to fly from Madrid to Moscow. How long does it take? How long does it take? Now, how long did it take, es el pasado. How long did it take you to learn Spanish? It took me 3 years to learn Spanish well. Now, how long would it have taken you to learn Spanish if you had studied more? Well, if I had studied 8 hours a day, it would have taken me maybe 1 year to master Spanish. To master, llegar a dominar. To master como verbo no significa dominar, significa llegar a dominar. Incluye la acción de llegar. is very difficult to master. Es muy difícil llegar a un buen dominio de. It's very difficult to master a second language. It took me 3 years of hard work. It took me 3 years of hard work to master Spanish. But if I had studied more, if I had spent, así con el condicional del pasado, if I had spent 8 hours a day at least studying this language, it would have taken me less time. Probably it would have taken me a year, not 3 years, to perfect Spanish or to master the Spanish language. Okay, I have a question for you. How long did it take you to get dressed this morning? Well, it took me 7 minutes to get dressed. How long does it normally take you to get dressed? Well, it depends. Normally it takes me 5 minutes to get dressed. And why did it take you longer? Albeit more time. Why did it take you more time? Why did it take you longer to get dressed this morning than to get dressed yesterday morning? This morning it took me an extra 2 minutes because I couldn't find the right tie. Today I have to dress formally because I have a very important business lunch. Okay? So, this morning it took me 7 minutes to get dressed instead of the usual 5 minutes. This morning it took me 7 minutes instead of the usual 5 minutes. Okay? And how long does it take you to get dressed every day? Vestirse, to get dressed. To get dressed. Do you have breakfast at home? Do you have a coffee or have some breakfast at home? Yes? Let me ask you a question. Do you have breakfast? Do you get dressed before having breakfast or after having breakfast? After. No, before. Okay, so you get dressed first and then you have breakfast. Do you prepare breakfast or does your spouse, your wife or your husband prepare breakfast for you? Spouse significa cónyuge. Spouse, viene la misma raíz que esposo o esposa. Your spouse. Are you prepared? How long does it take you to prepare your breakfast? It takes you 4 minutes, 3 or 4 minutes to prepare your breakfast. Okay. Now, do you get dressed before or after having breakfast? Okay, before. Okay. When I was growing up, I had breakfast in my pajamas. Simple and plural, pajamas. Yes, when I was growing up, the first thing I did in the morning after getting up, fijaos, getting es un gerundio, porque after es preposición. The first thing I did after getting up was to go to the kitchen and to the breakfast room and to have breakfast every morning. So, I had breakfast before getting dressed. To get dressed, escrito dressed, literalmente ponerse vestido, to get dressed. How long does it take you to get dressed? 5 minutes? Okay, ask me how long it takes me. How long does it take you, Cloverdale, to get dressed? It takes me also 5 minutes usually. Okay, how long did it take John Rockefeller to become rich? Do you remember the Rockefeller family? That's a very famous family in the United States and one of the wealthiest families in the United States. We have 2 words for rico. We have rich and wealthy. Rich and wealthy. And they mean the same, but there's a slightly different feeling. Wealthy usually means established richness. For example, I'm not rich. I'm not wealthy. I don't have any money. But let's say that next Sunday I win the lottery. Me toca. That I win the lottery. And I win 60 million euros. Imagine. 60 million euros. So I will celebrate, of course, and I will say, I'm rich. Or will I say, I'm wealthy? Which do you think I will say? Well, probably I will say, I'm rich. Because when we understand wealthy, it's established wealth. A long time. So if I win the lottery next Sunday and I win 60 million euros, I will become rich. And maybe my children and my grandchildren will be wealthy if I and my succeeding generations, if we administer the money well. If we don't, we could lose all the money. Some families squander their money, waste their money, and in the end, they were rich, but they're not wealthy. Wealth is riqueza. In fact, we say the wealth tax, which exists in Spain. It doesn't exist in the United States. In the United Kingdom, I don't know. But a wealth tax is el impuesto de patrimonio. It's a tax on your estate, on the money you have, not the money you earn, okay? Wealth, riqueza. In fact, the expression the British Commonwealth is literally la riqueza común británica, okay? The Commonwealth. It's wealth that is a patrimony, a wealth that is common to many different countries that belong to the Commonwealth, like Australia, Canada, India, I'm not sure what other countries, South Africa, maybe Jamaica, but a lot of countries that used to be colonies of Great Britain, and then after they gained their independence, they decided to maintain allegiance, a certain type of fidelity to the British Crown. And these countries are members of the British Commonwealth, okay? The United States, where I'm from, is not a member of the British Commonwealth, even though the United States originally was a colony of England, okay? Wealthy, okay, now, how long did it take the Rockefeller family to become rich? Well, it took John Rockefeller, the patriarch, the first one, it took him about 10 years, not very long, because he discovered oil in Pennsylvania, descubrir petróleo. To discover oil helps a person to become rich very quickly. So it didn't take him very long, okay? How long did it take the Botín family in Spain to become rich? I really don't know, because the Banco Santander was founded many, many years ago by the grandfather or I can't remember, I'm not sure, but it took a lot of work and a lot of time for the Botín family to become successful in their banking business and eventually to become wealthy. Eventually means al final. Eventually become wealthy. Okay, now, how long did it take you to go to work this morning? Or how long did it take you to go home yesterday evening from work? Did it take you longer than usual? Or did it take you less time than usual? If there's a traffic jam, if there's heavy traffic, if you encounter or if you run into heavy traffic on your way home, then usually it takes longer than usual. Valga la redundancia con usual. Uno suele tardar más de lo habitual. It usually takes longer than usual. If you encounter or if you run into a traffic jam, an unexpected traffic jam, it can take longer than usual. Now, it takes me 20 minutes to go home. It takes me 20 minutes to go home. Well, that's not true. It takes me 20 minutes to drive to where I park my car. And then it takes another 3 minutes to walk home. Because here is the only case in English in which we use the word another before plurals. For example, no quiero este libro, quiero otro libro, cualquiera. I don't want this book, I want another book. Plural, no quiero estos libros, quiero otros cualesquiera. I don't want these books, I want other books. But there's one exception in which we use another before plurals. It's when we insert a number. Okay? I drive home every day after work. It takes me 20 minutes. Now I park my car and then it takes me another 5 minutes to walk home. So anytime you talk about objects in the plural preceded by a number, we use another. This book is not enough. You are going to need another 3 books. We don't say other 3 books. Interesting exception in the language here. You don't need to see one doctor. I think you need to see another 2 or 3 doctors to get second and third opinions about this potential problem you suffer. Okay? So, how long does it take? How long did it take? How long will it take? You want to learn French? Well, probably it will take you 2 years to learn French well. You want to learn German? It will take you another 3 years to learn German. It took me 2 years to learn German, but I think it will take you 3 years to learn it in your case, because you're older than I was when I started German. I learned German when I was 20, and you're 37. So I think it will take you an additional year or an extra year. Okay, German, French, Spanish, learning languages, that's not my job. My job is to teach languages, specifically English. And your job, specifically, is to learn English. My job is to teach, your job is to learn. Perhaps we can create a way for both of us to grow. Okay, so good luck with your English. Study a lot, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye. Hello and welcome back. Are you ready? Are you ready to start? Let's see, just a second. Okay, I think I'm ready to. All right. Excuse me, would you rather I wear a tie or not? Would you rather I sit in this chair or stand? Would you rather I speak quickly or slowly? What would you rather I do? All right. Well, we'll find out. Would you rather be Spanish or French? Would you rather speak perfect English or perfect German? Would you rather have 3 eyes or 3 arms? Me? I would rather have 3 eyes than 3 arms if one of my eyes were in the back. But in the front, no. I would rather have 3 arms. Because if you have 3 arms, it's easier because you're carrying a tray in one hand, you're carrying something, and then you have a third arm to open the door, you know? Because now, you see in Spain, the basic difference between Spain and the United States, I'm from the United States, and I realized the basic difference between Spain and the United States is in the United States, normally we have doorknobs, and in Spain they have door handles. Did you ever notice that? A doorknob is you turn and you open. That's a doorknob, un pomo. A door handle, you use that. Now, door handles are very useful. Yes, they come in handy. Resultan útiles. They come in handy. Because if you're carrying a tray of things, you can always use your elbow to open the door if there's a door handle. If there's a doorknob, it's impossible. You can't open it with your elbows, okay? A doorknob. Now, in your house, would you rather have only doorknobs or only door handles? Would you rather live in a beautiful flat, in a big, beautiful building in the center of the city? Or would you rather live in a very nice house on the outskirts of the city where the air is a bit fresher and cleaner? Where would you rather live? Now, another question. Would you rather be 2 meters 15 or 1 meter 40? You have to choose. Would you rather? All right. Would you rather have $1 million or £1 million? Libras. Interesting question. Would you rather have €1 million or £1 million? Quickly, tell me. If you say £1 million, I agree with you. Because £1 million is worth more than $1 million. Yes. Aquí digo el verbo is. £1 million are worth more is also correct. But we think of the total amount. £1 million is worth more than $1 million. And £1 million is worth more than €1 million. Okay? But you would, of course, I would rather have £1 million. Now, question. I always ask my students this question. Would you rather be able to turn invisible or become invisible? You know, I'm invisible. Would you rather be able to turn invisible or to fly like Peter Pan? Think about it. Would you rather be able to turn invisible or fly like Peter Pan? 95% of my students answer, me, I would rather be able to turn invisible. And I say, why? What positive things can you do turning invisible? And my students have problems thinking of positive things they can do if they turn invisible. Now, to fly like Peter Pan, that's a very innocent ability. I mean, you can do a lot of good things if you can fly. But to turn invisible? So I ask my students this question in order to understand their personality. Okay, to see if they are dark people or they're open, innocent people. I would rather be able to fly like Peter Pan than to turn invisible. Although I would like to be able to turn invisible, but if I had to choose between one or the other, I would rather be able to fly like Peter Pan. Because if I'm in my car, tired of the traffic, I'll say, well, I'll park here and I'll fly the rest of the way, okay? Yeah, that would be nice. So I would rather be able to fly like Peter Pan than to turn invisible. Another question, this question is unpleasant, but would you rather be blind or deaf? Blind is when you can't see. You lose your eyesight. You lose your vision. You lose your eyesight. And if you lose your eyesight, you become blind. Now, if you lose your hearing, it means you can't use your ears. You can't hear. We hear with our ears. And if your ears don't work, you are deaf. Con F al final. Deaf. Now, question. Would you rather be blind or deaf? Difficult question. For me, it's clear. And for you? Personally, I would rather be blind. If I were blind, I could continue teaching English with very few limitations. I would need a cane or a seeing-eye dog to go to my class, or a chauffeur, or an escort, somebody to take me to my classes, or people would need to come to me. But I could teach English perfectly well if I were blind. It's not really a strong handicap at all. If I were deaf, forget it. I couldn't teach. I couldn't teach at all. If I were blind, I could continue working with people because I can dynamically interact with people. Communication. There are many blind people working in many jobs. Have you ever met a blind person who works? Have you ever met a deaf person who works? I've never met a deaf person. I'm sure there are many deaf people working in many places. But if I had to choose, I would rather be blind than deaf. I would rather be able to listen to music than to read a book. That's a difficult question. But still, I can hear books on tape or on CD. You can hear the books read, transcribed and read. But I would rather be blind than deaf. However, my students predominantly answer the opposite. They say they would rather be deaf than blind. But think about it. Okay, think about it. It's an interesting question here. The next one, would you rather be a famous inventor or a famous musician? Would you rather be a famous inventor or a famous musician? For example, Thomas Edison was a famous inventor. Okay. Bach and Beethoven, Mozart, these were famous musicians. Would you rather be a famous inventor or a famous musician? Personally, I would rather be a famous musician. An inventor spends a lot of time in his laboratory or in his laboratory, two pronunciations, spending hours and days, weeks, months, years trying to invent something. Thomas Edison needed 186 different materials, testing each one until he found the filament needed to create the incandescent light. Okay? 186 times. Imagine that he had gotten tired and said, I give up after attempt 171. It would have taken 20 more years perhaps for artificial light to be created. Okay? So he was perseverant. All right? And a musician, of course, needs to be perseverant to create music. But usually it doesn't take so much time. Thomas Edison, when people asked him later in his life, he said, Mr. Edison, what's the secret of innovation and creativity? And Edison said, well, innovation and creativity is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration. Now in English, perspiration means sudor, sweat, transpirar, perspire. And he's right. Now to be a musician, of course, you need to spend a lot of time. But a musician normally has a gift from God and produces music. I would rather be a musician than an inventor. Okay, I would rather be. Now, question. Would you rather be a multimillionaire or speak English perfectly? Me? I would rather be a multimillionaire, sorry. I would say, forget English. But I already speak English. Now, if somebody came to me and somebody said, Clovey, would you rather speak 5 languages perfectly or be a multimillionaire? I would probably say I would prefer to be a multimillionaire. Forget the languages again, okay? So, I would rather have the money and forget the languages. But a multimillionaire, if somebody came to me, estoy usando siempre las ideas hipotéticas con los condicionales. Si alguien viniera, if somebody came to me and said, would you rather be a millionaire or speak 5 languages perfectly? I would say, what do you mean by millionaire? €1 million. And I would say, well, €1 million is a lot of money. But I'm not sure €1 million would solve my life completely. So I think I'll take the 5 languages. Okay. Now, another question. If I had in this hand a magic pill that when you take it with water and after 30 minutes it takes effect, you know the equivalent of 2 university degrees, one from Harvard and one from Oxford and Cambridge in England, or 3 degrees from Harvard, Oxford, and Cambridge. This pill gives you the equivalent of studying a degree at these prestigious centers of learning, these prestigious centers of higher education, these famous universities, with this pill. Okay? This pill costs €50,000. Okay? Or, pensándolo bien, on second thought, it's free. I'll give it to you. Would you like the pill? You take it, and you're a very intelligent person. Very intelligent. Okay? You have the equivalent of 3 degrees. It's free. This pill. You take it, and you speak English perfectly. Like me. Or better. Perfectly. After it takes effect for 30 minutes. Okay. Would you like this pill? I'll only give you one. Would you rather have the Harvard, Oxford, Cambridge pill, or would you rather have the perfect English pill? Probably here in Spain, most people will choose the English pill. Yeah. In fact, I would estimate that 90% of all the people I have met in Spain would choose. If I asked them, would you rather have the Oxford, Cambridge, Harvard pill or the English pill? 90% would choose the English pill. Okay. That's interesting. That means that when magic enters the equation, the knowledge of English occupies its correct position in the hierarchy of learning values, educational values, or knowledge values. It's quite interesting. But in general, of course, a degree from Harvard, Cambridge, or Oxford is much more prestigious than learning English. But when magic is involved, English comes first, usually, because it's more difficult to learn. It's more difficult to achieve than to get a degree from Oxford, okay? So, would you rather be rich, ugly and rich, or attractive and poor? Really, think about it. Would you rather be ugly and rich, or attractive and poor? Me, I think I would rather be ugly and rich, okay? I have the money, okay? But I'm not sure. It depends on how poor. To be attractive but live in the poor slums of Calcutta, I think I would rather be ugly and rich, living in a mansion in the Swiss Alps, okay? Yeah. All right, but which would you rather be? Another question. Would you rather work as a policeman or as a fireman? Me personally, I would rather be a fireman than a policeman. I'd rather. Yo hago la contracción. No recomiendo que hagáis la contracción. Recomiendo I would rather. I'd rather be a policeman. I'd rather be a fireman than a policeman. A fireman spends part of his time, or her time, porque ya hay mujeres, in the fire station, just waiting, playing poker, having fun, enjoying, eating, cooking, doing a lot of things. But then when there's a fire, then it could be dangerous. So it's dangerous work. But still, you need to be strong. So you need to spend time at the gym. And that's fun too. I enjoy going to the gyms. A policeman, sometimes that's a dangerous job. But I don't think it's very appreciated by many people. It's not an easy job. But everybody admires and likes firemen. So I would rather be a fireman than a policeman. I would rather be a fireman. If I had to choose, si tuviera que elegir, if I had to choose, I would rather be a fireman than a policeman. Okay. Now, would you rather be an eagle or an elephant? Most people, eagle is un águila. Would you rather be an eagle or an elephant? Most people would say probably, I would rather be an eagle, flying around, a beautiful perspective, living in the side of a cliff. An eagle, it's very regal, very impressive. And an elephant is just a big pachyderm with a long, strange trunk, big ears, tusks, if you're a male, I think, or I don't know. And but really, to tell you the truth, I would rather be an elephant than an eagle. I'd rather be an elephant than an eagle because elephants are very intelligent and they have their lives and they know where the water is, they know where the food is, and they live a calm, peaceful, tranquil life. An eagle, of course, the eagle is flying, soaring up in the air, and it seems so beautiful. But the eagle is very busy looking for food all the time, for itself and for its offspring, the children, the baby eagles. So the eagle is always working, always looking, always hungry, always looking for food. So I think I would prefer to be an elephant. And elephants live together in families, in groups, in tribes, really. It's a clan. And so there is a social interaction in the world of elephants, I think, that seems more attractive to me than the solitary life of an eagle. Because I've never seen eagles get together and have a party or do anything. Elephants, yes. They get together at the water and they spit and they talk to each other. Eagles, I don't know. It's a solitary life. So I'd rather be an elephant than an eagle. I would prefer to be an elephant to being an eagle. You understand? It's very easy. But normally when we're talking about choices, we say, I'd rather. I'd rather, the next class, I think I would rather do the class without this tie. It's a preference you're expressing. You're inclined to one way or another. Which would you prefer to choose? Would you rather do this or that? Would you rather go to have lunch in a restaurant or at home? Would you rather have lunch out in a restaurant or to bring your food from home and eat it in the middle of the day? Would you rather? I'd rather be a sparrow than a snail. Yes, I would. Paul Simon. Do you remember Simon and Garfunkel? There was a song. I don't remember the words. It was called, the name of the song was El Condor Pasa, a Spanish name. A condor is a big bird, bigger than an eagle, in South America. And Paul Simon was the singer. And he started, I'd rather be a sparrow than a snail. Yes, I would. If I could, I surely would. I'd rather be. I would rather. Él hace la contracción. Y la pregunta es, would you rather? Okay, and he says, I'd rather be a sparrow, un gorrión, than a snail. Un caracol. All right. Me too. I don't like sparrows, but if I had to choose between being a sparrow or a snail, I'd rather be a sparrow. So I agree with our friend Paul Simon. I'd rather be a sparrow than a snail. Eso sí, yes I would, si pudiera, if I could, etc. I would rather. And would you rather learn English or be lazy and achieve nothing? Ser vago y no lograr nada. I think you would rather learn English. No? That's why you bought this program and this DVD and the Vaughan program. Good luck with your English. I would rather you learn English than sit at home and do nothing. So, see you soon. See you in another class. Bye-bye.